The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello everyone, I'm Michelle Hamer, your program advisor for the Southern Methodist University's Paralegal Certificate Program. Just a little background about myself. I've been working in higher ed as an instructor and in admissions and program advisement for professional and graduate degree education for about 7 years. And I'm really excited to be a member of the SMU team and working with each of you as you make the decision to enroll in our paralegal program. I want to thank each of you for taking the time out of your day to join us this evening for our informational webinar. I'm not really sure if you're aware that our paralegal certificate program is just one of the many excellent career-enhancing programs that we offer through our continuing and professional education department, or we call CAPE, including web design, graphic design, and financial planning. We are responsive to the professional education needs of a growing community of learners in the Dallas and Plano areas through our academic outreach and engagement. And our paralegal certificate program is a 6-month non-credit program which consists of instructor-led classroom instruction that is delivered by expert practicing attorneys who are professionals in their fields. They're experienced practitioners who bring their real-world experience to the classroom, ensuring that your learning is informative and engaging. Each class focuses on the applicable skills that you will need to become a successful paralegal. SMU is committed to offering the highest level of educational training that you would expect. That being said, let's get started with our webinar. I'd like to introduce you to our presenter and program director, Jennifer John.
Well, great. Thanks so much, Michelle, for that very enthusiastic, warm welcome to all of our attendees that are on tonight. We're excited that you've all joined us. We have quite a few individuals that are listening to this presentation. And before I get started, I do want to make sure everyone can hear me, that the audio is coming through clear and the quality of the sound is good for you. You'll notice there's a small hand icon that's right next to your name. Can you go ahead and click on that hand icon? That's going to indicate to myself and Michelle that you can hear us. I see hands going up all over the place. Fantastic. Also, I do want to point out the question section. As I'm going through my presentation, feel free to type in any questions that you might have during the presentation, and Michelle's going to try to answer as many of those as possible. Just to get you used to that system, I'd like each one of you just to take a moment and type in how you heard about our program. We're always interested in finding out if it was from perhaps a graduate that's already gone through the program, somebody in your own network, or you were simply doing a Google search for paralegal programs out there. So if you don't mind typing into the question box how you heard about us, that will be very helpful. What you see right now on the screen is the agenda of what to expect during the next 45 minutes. First of all, I'm going to be answering two what I consider to be fairly basic questions. Number one, why should you earn your paralegal certificate? What is the value for you? And then number two, is the Southern Methodist University program the right fit for you? There are a lot of programs out there, and I do believe I have some compelling reasons to share with you why we think that SMU is a good fit. Also, I've got some slides about the format of our program. We offer it in two convenient ways. It's either going to be evening sessions, 2 nights a week, 3 hours each evening, or on Saturdays from 9 to 12 and 1 to 4. So 3 hours in the morning or 3 hours in the afternoon. And again, we'll have some details about the format and also the content of the program. I have a few slides about the excellent attorneys that teach in our program. And then what I'll be doing is turning the presentation back over to Michelle. She's going to wrap up with us for us tonight with information on how you can enroll or apply for the program, a couple of different options that you have about payment, and then we'll close out the webinar with answering any remaining questions that you might have. So why earn your paralegal certificate? Interestingly, there are a lot of reasons that individuals earn their paralegal certificate, but I'd like to pose a couple of questions to my audience tonight. First of all, I have several things that I'd like to share with you. Did you know that the paralegal career track is ranked as a top 10 career? And that's according to the Wall Street Journal. Also, did you know that paralegals ranked as one of the best jobs in America, according to Money Magazine? This profession continues to experience exceptional growth. As you can see on this screenshot, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the paralegal field is projected to grow by more than 18% through the year 2020. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find a field, probably other than healthcare, with extremely healthy growth potential over the next decade. Also, employment of paralegals and legal assistants is something that we're seeing a huge increase in recently. With the recent turn in the economy, we're finding that employers have become very savvy, and they're hiring paralegals to perform those types of job responsibilities that were once handled by first or second year law associates. So it's a very cost-effective alternative to hiring lawyers, and of course paralegals can perform a much wider variety of duties that including those that were once done by attorneys. It's going to cause an increase in demand for paralegals and legal assistants, and we're really seeing that right now. Also, paralegal work is less likely to be offshored than any other type of legal workers. Paralegals do a lot of documentation organization, as well as working with attorneys to prepare for very important cases, hearings, and depositions. Law firms continue to be the largest employer of paralegals, but there are a lot of companies and corporations that are increasing their in-house legal departments also to cut costs. Most companies, for many of them, the high cost of lawyers and their support staff make it much more economical to have that in-house legal department rather than having to retain an outside legal counsel. This also is going to increase in the demand of legal workers in a variety of settings, such as corporate finance, insurance firms, consulting firms, and also healthcare providers. Now, I would say the largest employer of paralegals would be your large law firms. Anywhere from 60 to 65% of the jobs are with the major law firms, but there's a variety of openings with mid-sized and smaller firms, and quite frankly, a lot of our graduates do prefer working for a smaller firm simply because the variety of duties that they're going to be performing is much greater than that of a large law firm. We usually see paralegals working in a much more specialized or niched area in a law firm, large-size law firm, compared to a small, say, solo practitioner or one or two attorney firm. And is this program the right one for you? Well, we really understand that students have many choices in paralegal education. I think that's one of the major strengths of our profession. But the type of program chosen by each student, it's going to depend on several factors. And those include prior educational experience. Students who already have a 4-year undergraduate degree or a 2-year associate degree, they're not likely to attend a 2 or 4-year paralegal program. It just doesn't make sense to spend that same amount of time and money to go back and restudy topics that you've already learned in your undergraduate or associate educational careers. And then prior life experience. Many paralegal certificate students have very valuable real-world experience, but simply lack credentials to be competitive for job opportunities. And the last one would be motivation. Students who have taken certificate programs, they must be motivated since they're expected to gain knowledge and skills in a relatively short period of time. As an example, our 6-month program is very intensive, and all of our students have to be highly motivated so that they can focus on the high level of education that we offer during the program. We always recommend that individuals take their vacations, that they spend quality time with their family before they join one of our 6-month programs. Now, the last area that I did want to spend just a moment discussing is compensation. graduates of certificate programs are better compensated than graduates of associate or bachelor degree paralegal programs. This particular data comes directly from the International Paralegal Managers Association, or IPMA. Feel free to go ahead and Google that association. Again, it's International Paralegal Managers Association. It's comprised of paralegal directors and managers from law firms and law corporations all over the country. Each year they have an annual survey that goes out and to all of their members, and they're polled on things such as their paralegals' job satisfaction, their ability to be promoted within the company, and of course their salary level. Every year that salary compensation comes back, and this is at a national level, but every year it comes back that those paralegals who have graduated from a certificate program are higher compensated. A lot of factors come into play. Overtime that you'll see in many of the litigation firms, whereas the majority of corporations that you may end up working for are much more of a 9-to-5 type of environment, so there would not be opportunities for overtime. But if you wanted additional information about that, again, feel free to go ahead and Google International Paralegal Managers Association. So why should you earn your certificate from Southern Methodist University? Well, of course, our reputation is well known, not only in the state of Texas, but all over the country. As a top university, having the SMU certificate credentials on your resume will speak loudly about the high level of training which you've received. In addition, many attorneys are practicing in the Dallas area after graduating from SMU's Dedman Law School. Those alumni ties are strong and definitely improve our graduates' employability. Next, all of our instructors are not only licensed practicing attorneys who were selected for both their legal expertise, but also their teaching ability. Each instructor has gone through an intensive hiring process, including what we call a teaching demonstration, to ensure that they're both subject matter experts, but also they're able to engage their students while conducting classes. I'm sure a lot of you can think back on time during your undergraduate studies when you were actually dreading going into a class, and usually that's because the instructor, while a highly educated faculty member, may have not been able to get his students engaged or her students engaged during class, and we do have that teaching demonstration in place to make sure that our instructors are going to keep your class interesting and lively so that you do get a quality education that you would expect. Now, also, you're going to become a part of a 100-year tradition of excellence. SMU is a private university, and we have over 11,000 students and 110,000 continuing education students. We're located near the center of Dallas. SMU consistently ranks in the top third of national universities in U.S. News and World Report. SMU is only one of 3 Texas universities to be named in this guide. We were founded back in 1911 by what is now the United Methodist Church. So SMU opened in 1915 with the support of many Dallas leaders. The university is non-sectarian in its teaching and committed to freedom of inquiry. So consider the SMU brand and the SMU name when you're making your decision on which paralegal program is going to be a good fit for you. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about the excellent instructors that we have in place. I've already mentioned that they go through an extensive hiring process. When we started the program approximately 2.5 years ago, I spent, I would say, a good 6-month time period interviewing local Dallas attorneys for these new positions. I actually posted a job opening with the Dallas Bar Association, and based on that posting, I received over 100 resumes from attorneys around the Dallas area. As those applications and resumes were coming in, I was looking for two things on the application. First of all, were they a subject matter expert in one of the 6 areas of law that we teach in? And then also, do they have experience working with paralegals? We felt it was critical to make sure that the attorneys that teach for us actually have hands-on experience mentoring or supervising paralegals so that they would understand what it takes to be a successful paralegal. We felt it was important that they could impart that knowledge and information into the classroom. So after reviewing the applications, I set up approximately 30 phone interviews, and very similar to a phone interview that any of you may have gone on in the past. A lot of very pointed questions to find out if they would be a good fit. And if the phone interview went well, then we have set up what we call those test teaches, where the potential instructor came in and actually delivered a introductory class to myself and several of my colleagues, who evaluated them on a lot of variables such as classroom demeanor, could they answer those tough questions that we posed, and of that entire selection process, we do have what we could consider to be an excellent slate of new instructors. In addition to that hiring process, after each one of the classes, our students are sent a link to an online survey so that they can provide feedback and evaluate the instructor. We use that feedback and take it very seriously in our decisions to continue working with instructors. So there are a lot of facets that go into this evaluation process, but once the instructor is in place with us, we do rely very heavily on that critical student feedback that we get on our instructors. All right, here's a screenshot of a couple of the instructors that are currently teaching for us. I did mention that all of them are practicing attorneys. The only instructor who is not a practicing attorney would be Michelle Border. Michelle actually teaches our 2 career preparation seminars, and we wanted to make sure that we hired somebody that was not an attorney, but somebody that was actually out there living and breathing the paralegal world. Michelle has been a long-standing member of the Dallas Area Paralegal Association, not only in the position of president, but also mentoring and working with the membership through the years. Michelle is able to partake a lot of knowledge and wisdom that she's gained over her 25-year career, and she does deliver 2 excellent seminars. The first one is in the specifics of paralegal practice. So what are those areas of law that you can work in as a paralegal, and what to expect from a cultural difference between a large law firm, and we typically consider a large firm to be 100 plus attorneys, to a mid-sized firm, which would be anywhere in the range of, say, 10 to 20 attorneys up to 100, and then those smaller law firms, which would be anywhere from 1 to 9 attorneys. And each one of them has their different sets of cultural expectations that Michelle talks about, and also she brings in what we call a roundtable of practicing paralegals so that our students are able to talk to them, ask questions of them, and get a really good sense for what it's like, almost like a day in the life of a paralegal. So along with Michelle Border, I also would like to highlight Christine Horn, who has been teaching with us since the beginning of the program. Chris teaches both our Introduction to Law and Civil Litigation modules. Chris has a very, very impressive background as an attorney with her own firm, but she's also been teaching for over 12 years, and her evaluations consistently come back with high marks. The last instructor that I would like to highlight is Jean Roberts. I'd say Jean teaches probably one of our more challenging classes, which is legal research and writing. Jean's a graduate of our Dedman School of Law, and his ties are very, very deep with the SMU community. He does an excellent job with legal research and writing. And the reason I shared it's probably one of the most difficult is because of the number of actual assignments that are involved in that class, the length of the class, and it's really like learning a new language. But also, of course, Gene's evaluations come back with extremely high marks. I did want to share a couple of quotes from some of our recent graduates. The first one is Sandra Dias. The paralegal program not only changed my career, it changed my life. I would highly recommend SMU's program as a fantastic way to learn a new career. And then from another recent graduate, Catherine Kabiru, I decided to enroll in the program because SMU is a great university with an excellent reputation. The program was well tailored to fit a 6-month schedule while balancing my full-time job and classes. I think that the last one is fairly impactful. We do have a lot of concerns from prospective students that are wondering, can I do this? I'm working full-time. Is it feasible for me to handle my 40-hour plus work week along with the intensity of the 6-month program? And absolutely, it's very manageable. We have it set up so that we have a very good support system for the students with our instructors and the staff. Of course, you do have to be very committed, but the majority of our students are quite successful going through the program and holding down a full-time job. What you see now is a screenshot from a recent graduation ceremony. I'm going to back it up just one. No, I didn't miss a slide. Okay, great. It's a screenshot from a recent graduation ceremony. You'll notice that two of the graduates towards the left side of your screen are actually holding their beautifully framed certificates, and on the other side of the screen, the gentleman with the glasses on and the blue tie, that's Adam Gallegos. He is an instructor for our tort law classes, and he's also taught contract law for us. Speaking of the graduation ceremony, we do hold these 2 times a year, very similar to the graduate level programs where they have a spring ceremony and a fall ceremony. This happens to be a group shot from our spring 2012 graduation ceremony outside the building where it was hosted. And it's a fantastic time for individuals that have graduated to invite in their family, their friends, perhaps peers, or other individuals that help support them during the 6-month process to celebrate their achievement. So we do incorporate a very, very nice graduation ceremony into the program for all of our successful graduates. Oh, I love this particular screenshot. It's a quote from Carl Rogers. The only person who is educated is the one who has learned how to learn and how to change. And it's very indicative of the legal field as well. Everybody's aware that technology is constantly nudging us to keep up with it. And that's the same thing in the legal field. You really have to have an open mind. You have to be able to relearn things that you at one time thought had mastered. There are different techniques and tools that are available, and our program really keeps up to date with all of those changes. And when I started my career, and this was probably 25 years ago, I actually graduated from a paralegal certificate program out of Atlanta, Georgia, and I was hired directly through that program, not to work as a paralegal, but to work as what they called the law librarian. Again, this was 25 years ago. Everything was paper-based. All of your filings and court motions were paper-based back then, and the legal research was done through going to a law library. So I spent my early career as that law librarian, making sure that everything was kept up to date. But of course, in today's new technological world, all of that research is done online. Of course, there are law libraries everywhere for those people that do prefer the books, but we've incorporated into our program Westlaw, which is one of the 2 online legal research database systems techniques so that our students are able to use that latest technology and to have that comfort level when they do land their job in a law office. So keeping up with technology, learning how to kind of change the way you've done things in the past, all of those are invaluable skills to bring in as a new student. And I mentioned our career development. I do want to share with everybody that we get a lot of questions from prospective students that want to know if we have a official career placement office, similar to what you might have had in your undergraduate days. No, we don't have a career placement office. Our program is actually offered through the continuing education branch of Southern Methodist University. So while not in a formal career placement department, we do have that career development incorporated right into the program to help everybody get prepared for their own job search. Included in those are the career options seminar, resume writing seminar, and of course an interview techniques seminar. In addition to these topics, excuse me, our instructor also introduces our students to the local Paralegal Association, which is called DAPA, the Dallas Area Paralegal Association. As students of the SMU program, they're eligible for a nice discount, and it's a fantastic association to begin that very important networking process. They have monthly meetings that are scheduled. They also have a very robust mentoring process in the association where they'll actually align you with one of their members that helps work with you during your job search. So there are a lot of different techniques that we provide to our students to help not only write a resume that's going to help them get that job, but also what are those tips and techniques that you need to have prepared before you go in for the job interview. So career development, which is incorporated right into the program. And next, I did want to show you, I actually have 3 samples of upcoming program schedules. In this example, it's our program that actually starts in 2 weeks. It runs from March 30th through September 14th. It's a Saturday format. So it meets 9 to 12 and 1 to 4. And we do have some spaces available in the program. A little bit later on, I am going to be talking about new requirements in our program, which is going to be a 4-year undergraduate degree. This March 30th program will be the last opportunity for any individual that doesn't have a 4-year undergraduate degree to go ahead and enroll. But it begins on Saturday, March 30th. There'll be a orientation and a career preparation class in the morning, and then students have a break during the afternoon, and then they start up their first set of modules. Our students only take 2 of the 6 modules at any given time, and we start off with tort law and personal injury, and then introduction to law. Now, for any of these schedules, of course, national holidays, there would not be any class scheduled, and we do have breaks between each of the series of classes when our students are completing their final exam online. It's administered online, and we give our students a week after the last class to go into our online portal and complete that final exam. After the break is May 18th, and then of course we have a back-to-back break because of the holiday on May 25th. Students come back on June 1st to begin the next 2 series of classes, legal research and writing and civil litigation. Of course, you'll see that holiday on July 6th. And then we have a break on July 27th when our students are completing their online final exams. And then we wrap up the program starting with Saturday, August 3rd with bankruptcy law and contract law, which runs through September 14th. Now, the next example that I have is very much the same format. The only difference is that our students are taking classes on Tuesday evenings from 6 to 9 and then Thursday evenings from 6 to 9. This program begins on the week of June 18th and then ends the week of November 19th. And, again, very similar format where students are taking tort and personal injury and then introduction to law. Then they go into their civil litigation and legal research and writing classes and then end the program with bankruptcy law and contract law. You'll notice at the top there's introduction to law and tort law on June 25th. Then it changes out on July 2nd with Introduction to Law on Tuesday evening. A lot of times our instructors may need to just change out when they're teaching, so there could be some adjustments to the schedule. But as far as the actual modules that are given during any given cohort, they are identical. Of course, holidays are off, and then students do have those breaks between each of the sessions of modules. Now, the last one that I wanted to talk about is the announcement of our brand new Plano campus program. All of the other cohorts have been offered on the Dallas campus. We got a lot of feedback from students in the program that said they would much rather go to, we call it our legacy campus in Plano. It would have been much more convenient for them. So for the first time, we have decided to schedule a paralegal cohort in Plano, and that's going to be our popular Saturday format. It's going to run from August 17th through February 8th. Again, classes meeting 9 to 12 and 1 to 4 right on the Plano campus, all identical content. So it is the same program. It will be the same instructors. The major difference is the convenience of taking the program from Plano if you happen to live closer to that area. We do have some information excuse me, on our website at this point, and we're going to be opening registration for the Plano campus, and I'm going to back up one slide, and also for our June 18th program. I would say that's going to be up and available for registration no later than Saturday of this week. We have a new process in place right now with the change in our requirements, and we are going to have an application posted that students can utilize, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So again, to reiterate some of the program details, it's over 120 hours of hands-on classroom education. You can also earn your certificate in just 6 months. Now, it could take a little longer or a little bit shorter depending on the holidays. As an example, our Plano campus program begins August 17th, but because of the December time period, there's a long break from December 14th through the 28th, so students don't end the class until February 8th, so just a little bit over 6 months, but generally 6 months is what you could use from a estimation time point. We also have those convenient evening or Saturday classes. The evening classes meet 2 nights a week from 6 to 9, and our Saturday classes meet from 9 to 12 and 1 to 4. It really depends on what's going to work best for your schedule. Personally, I prefer going to class all day on a Saturday, but other individuals find that they prefer learning in those shorter chunks of time for the evening classes where you're only going for 3 hours 2 nights a week. But both options are good selections. It just depends on what's going to work best for your busy personal and also professional lives. Excuse me. As far as earning your certificate and getting to that graduation seminar, we do want everyone to attend the career preparation classes. You must complete each of the 6 courses with a minimum of 70%. Now, each of the courses, as I mentioned, has a final examination, but they also have a variety of assignments, quizzes. As an example, the legal research and writing course has over 4 weekly assignments along with a legal memorandum. Our contract law class has contract, you have to work on 2 contracts, but for each of those 6 courses you're going to have a variety of assignments or quizzes along with a final exam, and you need that 70%. But as far as an overall cumulative average at the end of the program, we do require a minimum of a 75% to graduate. Now, at entrance requirements, we do require that you have a 4-year undergraduate degree. That degree can be in any area. It does not matter, but we felt it was important to ensure that our students will have those credentials that are necessary for employment. We are, there may be a few instances where we're going to waive the 4-year undergraduate degree requirement, but that's only going to be for individuals who are already working in a law firm or a legal department and do want to receive their certificate. So Michelle Hamer will talk a little bit more about that when she comes on board. But after the March 30th program, each of our applicants will need to have a 4-year undergraduate degree for enrollment. Now, as far as the program costs, we do have a $50 application fee. Again, that application fee is going to begin with our June program, so you don't have to pay the application fee for the March program. The tuition itself, though, is only $5,495, and you'll pay that after being accepted into the program. But it includes everything. There aren't any type of hidden fees. All of your textbooks and course materials are included. I'm sure a lot of you can remember how expensive those texts were from your undergraduate days. I think they probably cost us in the $900 to $1,000 range. We also do provide that access to the online testing center. We provide a full student subscription to Westlaw, and then the career preparation classes, along with a complimentary parking pass. You'll get a parking pass that you can use in the parking decks on campus, and that will be for the entire 6-month program. And then, of course, a beautiful graduation certificate after you successfully complete the program. All right, as far as payment options, before I turn this over to Michelle, I'm just going to take a moment to go to our website. It's hopefully everybody can see this screenshot now. I'm actually on the SMU Paralegal website. I did want to point out to everyone that is interested in registering for any of these upcoming classes, this is our home page. If you click on the enrollment and financing link, that is going to take you to the current information. As I mentioned, by Saturday we're going to have a little more content here. Right now the only program that's showing up is our March 30th through September 14th program, and you can actually click here to enroll in it. When you click on that link, though, it is going to open up the application areas for not only our June Paralegal Certificate program, but also the August program. You'll notice next to the August program there's a P for the Plano campus. So those would be the $50 application sections for both of those classes. But for our upcoming March 30th class, all you need to do is click directly on this link that says, the one that has the begin date of March 30th and end date of September 14th, and then just go ahead and process your registration online that way. So again, we'll have a couple of changes to this website, so it's a little more intuitive. It will also list the additional upcoming program dates as well as those application links. So let me go back over to my presentation screen, and at this point I'm going to go ahead and turn the webinar over to Michelle Hamer, and she's going to share a little bit of information about some payment options, and then information about Sally Mae and what to expect from us after the webinar's over. So Michelle, did you want to go ahead and take it over?
Hi, sorry about that. I was muted and couldn't get unmuted.
Not a problem.
I'm
I thought you
back.
might have typed something into the question box for me.
Actually, yes, I was answering some really, really good questions over there. Keep them coming. We'll answer them as we go. Um, and so I'm going to take over here where we talk about payment options, some opportunities for financial assistance, and thank you, Jennifer, for showing that screen, because that is one of the areas that we typically try to verbally explain where to go, but that was great to have the visual. Payment in full is expected at the time that you enroll, and as Jennifer mentioned, for this March program that begins on the 30th of the month, you can go directly to that enrollment button and enroll now. And if you pay in full with a credit card online, you'll immediately receive your confirmation that you have been enrolled in the class, and then within a week prior to the course starting, typically if the course starts on the Saturday the 30th, you should receive your orientation email right around the 25th with all of the information on how to log into our online environment, your classroom information, and so forth. You can also pay by money order or cashier's check, and we have a form that you can download and complete and fax back in or mail in with that payment as well. Those are the options for paying, but both of them require payment in full at the time of enrollment. And we do understand that some people may need a little bit of financial assistance in that process. Because this is a non-credit continuing education program, it's different than the degree granting side of the university, where traditional financial aid such as FAFSA and the federal grants and loans are not eligible for these programs. So we have created a relationship with Sallie Mae, and they have what's called the Smart Options Continuing Education Loan. It's a fairly low interest loan. Obviously your interest rate is based on your credit score, but you can see right here that you can have low or no credit. You could be approved with a co-borrower, and as you go through the application process, once you complete it, if they feel that with a co-borrower they would be able to grant you a loan, that will be recommended right there on your final information that they send to you when you receive either your acceptance or denial. The application process is very quick. It takes about 20 minutes to complete the application if you have all of your information in front of you, and then you'll receive your decision within 15 to 30 minutes after you've completed that application. And then after you have completed the application, you will receive an email from Sallie Mae. Oh, okay, it says within 24 hours. What we found is it's been quicker than that, so I apologize. We'll stick with the Sallie Mae's comments that it takes 24 hours. That way, if it's less than that, yay. If not, then we're not telling you that it was sooner. But those are the options that we recommend. We also recommend, if you have a really good relationship with a financial institution or a credit union, oftentimes it may be easier for you to get some financing opportunities through those organizations. Especially if you have had your banking and so forth done there for years and have a good relationship. There's ways to look at that, as well as with a low interest credit card. If you have a low interest credit card and you put the tuition on it, you can pay the monthly payments, and then you've already paid the full tuition. So as you can see here, these are the different options for the payment. As we described earlier, you can pay online immediately with a credit card. fax in the downloadable registration form, or you can mail it into the Cape office. And as Jennifer mentioned, our upcoming class dates, the first Saturday program is March 30th through September 14th. Then we have our June program, which is a Tuesday, Thursday evening program from 6 to 9. And we're very excited about our new Plano campus program that is going to start in August, and it'll run through February, and that is a Saturday program as well. The numbers that you see on the screen here are the contact numbers for myself and my email address. Now, what's going to happen after the session is within the next couple of days you will receive an email from me with a little bit more information and a little bit of a review of the information that we went over, as well as a recording of this session that you will have the ability to review. And if you have a friend or someone else who's interested in the program, you can share it with them and maybe get a partner to go through the program with you. And our hope with this webinar is that we were able to give you all of the information that you need to make a educated decision about enrolling and joining us at SMU, and I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have either via email or telephone over the course of the next few days so that we can get you enrolled in the class before it closes out and fills up. So thank you very much for joining us. I'm going to turn it over to Jennifer to close out, and I hope you all have a wonderful evening.
Well, great. Thanks again, Michelle, for that overview. As she mentioned, she'll be following up with the recorded version of this webinar. We will have that website updated no later than Saturday with all the new program dates. If these programs aren't the best fit for you, we will have a few programs that we're going to be offering in the fall, but we certainly hope to see each one of you in one of our upcoming class, and would love to see you become one of SMU's very, very proud graduates. So have a fantastic rest of your evening, everyone. We thank you for your time, and we'll look forward to seeing you in a class coming up soon.
And if we didn't have a chance to answer everybody's questions, I will make sure that I make a note of them and reach out to you after the session and answer them in the email that I send out.
Okay, great. Good night, everybody.
Good night.